Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, thank you, God, for another day and opportunity. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to go ahead and hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich Gang family. And let's go ahead and reach 50 likes on this video today. And as y'all can see, by the looks of the title and the screen today, I am bringing y'all the top 3 best rare, most broken Catfish builds on NBA 2K22 current gen. Now coming up first is the one and only prospect build with contact dunks. Now, all y'all need to go ahead and do is make sure that you create this build out of the finishing and the shooting pie chart. Now, I'm telling y'all, out of this build, we are going to be able to do a little bit of everything, especially with the setup that I'm going to be bringing to y'all today. So, go with the close shot of 69, max out your driving layup and the driving dunk, then go ahead and max out that post control and go with a 50 standing dunk for 13 badges. Once it comes down to the mid-range and three-pointer, max both of these out. And as for the post fade, for badge purposes, I'm going to go with an 87 and a 59 free throw, and that's going to give us 16 shooting badges. Now for the ball handle, max this out. Same thing with the post control, and we're able to get 10 playmaking badges. Then once we go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be able to do on the defensive end, go ahead and max out that interior defense, lateral quickness, block, as well as your defensive rebound. Then go with the 56 perimeter defense as well as a 45 steal. And we're going to be able to maintain 7 defensive badges. And since we are in Season 8, imagine what this build and the potential of it is going to be, especially if you have unlocked every single extra badge upgrade that we were able to be getting from the seasons. Now, once it comes down to the height on this build, you can put this based off your own preference. I'm going to go with 6'7", and that alone gives us a huge boost put towards our vertical speed and acceleration. Now, once it comes down to the height and the weight, these are both going to go hand in hand. You want to be sure to drop down that weight all the way to 187. That's going to give us an even bigger boost put towards our speed. Then for the wingspan. Now you can go ahead and risk going with a lower wingspan for better shooting, but I'm going to go with the one that is 89.0, and right there, as you can see, we do get the threshold of an 81 driving dunk, which means at 99 overall, we'll have an 85, giving us all of the contact dunks. Now, once it comes down to the takeover, you can make this even more of a Catfish build with the post-scoring takeover to be more unique. To be more comp, I would go with the sharpshooting. Now that is just based off my preference, remember, as long as you like how you pick the takeovers based off your playstyle, that is what I believe will work out. And as y'all can see, at number 1, I had to go ahead and bring y'all the contact dunking prospect build. Now I have 2 more builds coming at y'all right now. The first one, I wanted to bring y'all the more all-around version when it comes down to all 3 Catfish builds. Second, I'm going to go ahead and take it into the big man. That's an inside scorer, but it's going to be able to shoot limitless range threes just as good as any sharpshooter or stretch big. Now for those of y'all who have already done so, thank y'all for hitting that like button, but be sure to comment down below where are you tuning in from. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the next build that I'm going to be bringing at y'all today. So if you were thinking of making a big man build that is going to be able to shoot from deep just as good as a stretch big wood from limitless range 3, go ahead and get started by putting this build under the power forward position. Now, as we do go along and get into the breakdown of this build, you can actually get a few different names out of the archetype that we're going to be dropping today. But as for the pie chart, we're going to go with the shooting as well as the finishing here again. Now, as what we're going to be looking like when it comes down to the physical profile, pick between the first and the fourth one. I'm letting y'all know right now, if you want a higher vertical, go with the 4th physical profile. And from here, we're going to go ahead and get into the breakdown of the main attributes. Do not worry about the physicals because once we do change our height, weight, and wingspan, all that is going to play a huge role into what we're going to be able to do. So I'm going to go with a maxed out close shot, driving layup, as well as the driving dunk. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the standing dunk and post hook, and we're going to get 21 finishing badges. Now for the shooting, I'm going to max out my midi, three-pointer, and the free throw. That's going to give us 15 shooting badges. Then for the playmaking, max out the ball handle and the post control. As for the defensive end, I'm going to go with the 67 interior defense, 51 for the lateral quickness. Then we're going to go ahead and put that block anywhere from a 66 to a 70, and the rest can be thrown into your defensive rebound. Now, I know we only have one defensive badge, but if you have grinded each season or even a few extra seasons, y'all, you'll be able to add on those badges towards the defensive area. And I'm letting you know right now, since we are in Season 8, we do have the potential to get actually 9 defensive badges on this build. Now for the body shape, if you want to take up the most space, go with burly or even built. But once it comes down to the height, I'm going to go with 6'7", and as you can see, we got a huge boost put towards our speed, acceleration, and mainly the vertical. Now as we go ahead and look at the height, I'm going to go ahead and pair it up with the weight as well. You don't want to be weak on this build, so I'm going to go with 270. That alone is going to bring up our strength. Then from here, if you go with an 89.0 wingspan, we're going to be able to get all of the contact dunks once we hit 99 overall. The best thing about this build is that once we go ahead and get it to 99 overall and get the gym rat badge, we're going to have all of our physicals above 70. And as you can see, we do get the post scoring takeover, sharp shooting, and the slashing. Now, whichever one you decide to go with, make sure it's based off your playstyle. I'm going to go with sharp shooting just to be the best possible Catfish build. And as y'all can see, at number 2, we were able to create the sharp shooting interior big. Now, I have one final build lined up for y'all. I'm telling you, I had to go ahead and save the best defensive build for last. And I'm going to go ahead and say the build name is going to be a 3-point specialist with lockdown defender takeover. Now, I'm telling y'all, this build is definitely going to be able to shoot just as good as any other build. The best thing about it is it comes with a great rare build name, and it's going to be able to do everything and better than a normal perimeter lockdown would be able to do, perimeter defender, or even your average lockdown defender build. Now, as we go ahead and get into the breakdown, I'm telling you, just be sure to follow along with everything that I go into depth with. So, let's go ahead and get started by putting this build under the shooting guard position. Now, I did say a 3-point specialist with lockdown takeover. So when it comes down to the pie chart, you can probably get a close idea of which one I'm going to put on. But as you can see, I'm going to go with the one with shooting as well as defense. But we're going to be getting more shooting out of this build. Now, once it comes down to the physical profile, 2 options to pick from. If you want to go with the maximum speed, go with the very first physical profile. If you want a higher vertical, go with the 4th one. But for today, since we are making a lockdown, I would consider the first one. But if you want to be more all around, go with the 4th for an 81 vertical, 82 acceleration, as well as an 84 speed. Now, as we go ahead and get into the breakdown of the finishing on this build, go ahead and start with a driving dunk of 70. And from here, we are not touching anything because for this build, I wanted to be able to still finish with getting certain dunks unlocked, like the park dunks, but then I wanted to mainly go about the shooting and the defensive area with a little bit of playmaking. So, go with an 80 mid-range shot, max out that 3-pointer, max out the free throw, and go with the 82 post fade for 24 shooting badges. Then for the playmaking, I'm going to max out my pass accuracy and ball handle, go with the 56 post control, and that right there gives us 13 playmaking badges. And once we get into the defensive end, 57 for the interior defense, 77 for the perimeter, I'm going to max out my lateral quickness and steal, max out that defensive rebound, go with the 57 offensive, then you can go with a 58 block, and we are brought up to 19 defensive badges. Now really consider what this build is going to be able to do. If you have grinded out each season, getting a total of 8 extra badge upgrades. But from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the height. I'm going to go with 6'6", and to make this build the fastest possible, go with 183. And then for the wingspan, if you go ahead and adjust this to anywhere from max to an 87.0, you'll be able to get the park dunks. And as you can see, add on the +8 to your speed. That's going to be in the 90s. 88 for the vertical with a 90 acceleration. Now, I'm going to let y'all know right now, the takeover is going to have the biggest impact on this build, which is why I think, in my opinion, this is the best Catfish build for a lockdown defender when it comes down to current gen, and a perfect build to end off Season 8 with. But as you can see, you'll be able to break ankles with the playmaking takeover. Also got that lockdown, of course, but then we do still maintain the sharp shooting. So make sure that you go based off of your own preference and playstyle. I'm going to go with the sharpshooting or the lockdown. And as y'all can see, we were able to create the Klay Thompson 3-point specialist build. And man, if you made it to the end, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich Gang family. And last, but definitely not least, y'all, go ahead and comment down where did y'all tune in from today. And I just want y'all to know, thank y'all for the support. And with all that being said, thank y'all, thank you God for another day, and Rich out.